This is Matador News, and these are today's headlines. Former First Lady Nancy Reagan is being transported from Santa Monica to Simi Valley for a 2-day public viewing. A massive explosion hits a Seattle neighborhood, injuring 9 firefighters. And actor and comedian Cat Williams appears in court today for aggravated assault charges.
Welcome to Matador News. I'm Eric Sklar.
And I'm Patsy Powell. Former First Lady Nancy Reagan's casket just arrived to the Ronald Reagan Library this morning. The casket left a Santa Monica funeral home earlier today. Her motorcade drove through the streets of Los Angeles, arriving in Simi Valley late this morning. Over the next 2 days, thousands will pay respects to the former First Lady. The 94-year-old died last Sunday of congestive heart failure. First Lady Michelle Obama and former President George W. Bush will be attending the funeral this Friday.
9 Seattle firefighters are out of the hospital after a gas explosion this morning. The fire department received a call about a gas leak, and the explosion occurred around 1:45 this morning. The explosion destroyed one building and damaged others as far as 2 blocks away. Seattle Fire Department officials say the fire is out and the gas has been shut off in and around the explosion site. This is the second gas leak to have caused an explosion in the state of Washington in the past 6 months.
Bernie Sanders had an unexpected victory against Hillary Clinton in Michigan's primary. Sanders' victory suggests that he may perform stronger than expected in upcoming primaries in Ohio, Illinois, and Wisconsin. Despite the victory, Clinton still picked up the most delegates throughout the night. Clinton had 84 delegates, while Sanders took 67. The momentum between the candidates comes just in time for tonight's Democratic debate hosted by Univision in Miami.
And the race for the Republican presidential nomination is starting to look like a one-horse race. With victories in Michigan, Mississippi, and Hawaii, Donald Trump draws closer to securing the Republican nomination. Trump has now won a total of 14 states and 458 delegates. March 15th is going to be a crucial day as the winner-take-all states begin their primary elections. Florida Senator Marco Rubio and Ohio Governor John Kasich look to score potential campaign-saving victories in their respective home states, while Trump looks to take the momentum he has gained and bring home victories in both Florida and Ohio.
There could be a faculty strike at CSUN next month. Newsroom reporter Nick Torres has more on the story.
A teacher strike is looking more like a possibility. About 26,000 professors, librarians, and coaches from the 23 CSU campuses are prepared to go on strike in April. If it happens, it will be the largest academic walkout in U.S. history. Teachers have been fighting for a 5% increase in salary, but the trustees of the Committee on Collective Bargaining have offered only a 2% pay increase. California Faculty Association Representative Theresa Montaño says she is confident her colleagues will join her at the picket line.
The strike is going to happen unless by some miracle, and at this point I think it will take a miracle, the CSU administration decides that it wants to quit playing games and actually begin to negotiate. We will have a strike in April.
The reality of teachers not showing up for class is starting to worry some students. One CSUN student says he will not allow the strike to distract him from his studies.
Well, I'm for whatever they have to do, but I'm still going to study, and I'm not going to, I can't really forward till I have it affect my grade.
The strike is scheduled for April 13th through 15th and April 18th and 19th. Now back to Eric in the newsroom.
Vice President Joe Biden is currently in Israel meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today. Since Vice President Biden arrived in Israel, there have been at least 5 attacks on civilians by Palestinian terrorists. Former U.S. Army officer and current Vanderbilt University graduate student Taylor Force was killed in one of the attacks. The attack left 10 others injured, including Force's wife, who is in critical condition. The attack occurred in Jaffa, which is an adjacent city to Israel's largest metropolitan city, Tel Aviv. Both Israel and the United States have condemned the attack, and both Vice President Biden and Prime Minister Netanyahu have expressed their condolences to the Force family.
North Korea now claims to have miniaturized nuclear warheads to fit on ballistic missiles. State Department spokesperson John Kirby says the North Korean leader needs to focus on his people.
Just to ratchet down the tension on the peninsula, to focus his resources and energy on the people of North Korea and on peace and security there in the region.
A North Korean agency of scientists and technicians released images of what appears to be miniaturized weapons, but the validity of the photos has not been confirmed. The photos have come after North Korea warned it would make a preemptive and offensive nuclear attack in response to recent joint exercises between the U.S. and South Korea.
The U.S. has completed the first round of airstrikes on what is believed to be an ISIS chemical weapons operation. An ISIS operative who was detained a few days ago gave up information about ISIS's use of mustard gas. It is not clear if the U.S. was able to take out ISIS's chemical weapons ability, but the Pentagon officials say they think they were successful.
For the latest in sports, let's go to Kendall Faulkner.
Thanks, Patsy. So tennis star Maria Sharapova's competitors are applauding her public apology. Sharapova says she was sorry for taking a drug called meldonium, which was banned in January. Tennis legend Serena Williams says she admires Sharapova for her apology.
I think, as Maria said, she's ready to take full responsibility, and I think that showed a lot of courage and a lot of heart. And I think she's always showed courage and heart in everything that she's done, and this is no different.
Sharapova said she was unaware that the drug was banned and has been taking it because her longtime doctor prescribed it to her. The World Anti-Doping Agency says they banned it because it can help the performance of athletes. Now, who would have thought that the Lakers would have won their first two-game winning streak for the first time since January? Their young core was a major key to the victory against the Orlando Magic last night. D'Angelo Russell scored 27 points and Jordan Clarkson added 24 of his own. The Lakers' Russell, Clarkson, and Julius Randle combined for 31 of the 39 points scored in the third quarter. They were able to win without Kobe Bryant, who sat out with a sore shoulder. Bryant will be matched up with LeBron James for the last time as the Cavaliers travel to Los Angeles on Thursday. Carolina Panthers defensive end Charles Johnson re-signs with the Panthers after the Super Bowl 50 loss. The Panthers officially announced the one-year contract with Johnson this morning. Johnson turned down more money with other teams and signed for the $3 million with the Panthers. After missing 7 games last season due to injury, Johnson ended his season with 4 sacks. 3 of those were during the Super Bowl. Now for the latest on entertainment, let's go to Morgan Bertolotti.
Sir George Martin, the music producer who collaborated closely with the Beatles, died last night at 90 years old. Martin helped redraw the boundaries of popular music in a career that spanned 7 decades. He worked with several others, including Celine Dion, but his fame and his influence rest on the 7 years he spent with the Beatles.
And he said, the Beatles didn't just make great songs, they had great sounds that went into the songs.
Ringo Starr and Paul McCartney tweeted their thanks to the late producer. McCartney said in a statement that Martin earned the title of the 5th Beatle and was like a second father to him. Martin was recognized globally as one of music's most creative talents. Comedian Cat Williams is in jail today in Atlanta after being arrested for the 2nd time in recent days. The 44-year-old is accused of threatening his bodyguard, Corey Dixon, the day before being arrested on a separate misdemeanor battery charge. Williams and 2 acquaintances allegedly confined and assaulted Dixon. He is charged with aggravated assault, terroristic threats, false imprisonment, and felony possession of marijuana. He was released on $5,000 bail for a separate charge in which he punched a store employee for making racist remark. Williams is scheduled for a committal hearing at 2 p.m. today.
A Boston area Chipotle has been shut down after an employee was diagnosed with norovirus. 3 other employees are reported to have similar symptoms. Board of Health official Sandra Giroux says a cleaning crew arrived late last night to begin a thorough cleaning.
Start again, sanitize. They've got the great new protocols in place for cleaning everything.
Norovirus is a foodborne illness that causes nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. Workers will be allowed to return to work once they are symptom-free for 5 days. Company officials are hoping to reopen the location by the end of this week. Now let's go to Miracle Evans in the newsroom for student reactions on fast food.
Thanks, Kendall. CSUN students, like students everywhere, eat a lot of fast food. Food sciences professor Svitlana Kovalenko said students need to be mindful of what they consume at fast food restaurants.
We need to be mindful of the food safety, of course, because the food is served so fast. A lot of times the food safety is overlooked in the restaurants like that. So of course, they try to train the personnel and they try to keep, again, good food safety, good hygiene amongst the personnel, but it is very hard because of the fast pace.
Besides worrying about food safety, large amounts of fast food consumption over time can lead to hypertension, type 2 diabetes, and even cancer.
I'm constantly just buying food on the go, so I try to look for healthier fast food options so that I'm not totally eating junk all the time.
For people like us, like college students, that we just either don't have time to cook or anything, you just go straight from school to work. It's just in the process, on the way.
Now let's go back to Kendall in the studio with more health news.
Thank you, Miracle. San Francisco company Analytic has found a new way to detect and possibly prevent cancer. Company officials say they created a data-driven program that uses math to look at previous cancer diagnoses to help and identify what cancers or symptoms the patient is experiencing. The company says it will be creating a 400% increase rate in the survival for lung cancer. Almost 1 in 10 patients who go to the hospital with cancer symptoms leave undiagnosed, and Analytic says it wants to prevent that. Now let's go back to Morgan with the latest on business.
Thanks, Kendall. The inventor of email, Ray Tomlinson, has passed away at the age of 74. Before Tomlinson invented direct messaging in 1971, electronic messages could only be shared through a very limited network. Gmail paid tribute via Twitter, acknowledging Tomlinson's invention and the fact that he put the @ on the map. Accounting for business alone, 100 billion emails are sent and received per day. Tomlinson said his invention worked out as he had imagined, though the scale was far greater. He was inducted into the Internet Hall of Fame in 2012. Home Depot has agreed to pay at least $19.5 million to compensate U.S. consumers. These consumers were harmed by a 2014 data breach affecting more than 50 million cardholders who use self-checkout terminals. The home improvement retailer will set up a $13 million fund to reimburse shoppers for out-of-pocket losses. The company will also spend at least $6.5 million to fund cardholder identity protection services. They agreed to improve data security over a 2-year period and are hiring a chief information security officer to oversee its progress. Terms of the preliminary settlement were disclosed on Monday with the federal court in Atlanta, where Home Depot is based. That's all for business. Back to Patsy Powell with more news.
People across Asia had a spectacular view of a total solar eclipse this morning. The best vantage point for seeing the eclipse was in Indonesia. The moon completely blacked out over the island of Sumatra at 6:20 this morning before moving eastward. The eclipse could also be seen from Singapore, Hawaii, Northern Australia, and Kuala Lumpur. The next time anyone will see a total eclipse will be August 21st, 2017. It will be only viewable in certain parts of the U.S.
Thank you for watching Matador News. Follow us on Twitter @MataNewscast. I'm Eric Sklar.
I'm Patsy Powell.
I'm Kendall Faulkner.
And I'm Morgan Bertolotti.